Good morning. This meeting is called to order. For the record, the time is 1:31 p.m. The date is August 19th, 2025. The commission and its staff are appearing from Helena, Montana in the Bollinger Room of the Montana Public Service Commission. I am Brad Molnar. I'm the presiding chairman for this meeting. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the record, the following commissioners are here in person. We have Commissioner Wellborn, Commissioner Panucci, and Commissioner Bukacek. Online, we have Commissioner Fielder. Therefore, we have our quorum. The Public Service Commission welcomes any comment on any item that is on today's agenda or any matter that is within the jurisdiction of the Montana Public Service Commission. Are there any public commenters in the room? Seeing none. Are there any public commenters online? Mr. Matt Sullivan, are you online? Mr. Sullivan, can you hear me? We'll circle back to Mr. Sullivan. So, are there any announcements to any changes of the agenda? There are none, and there are no expected late arrivals or departures from the commission meeting. Therefore, we move to the approval of the minutes.
Mr. President, I move the minutes be received as read.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any comment on the or discussion on the minutes? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. 5-0. The ayes have it. Okay, we're on the work session. Is there any staff on our? Oh, we have staff coming forward, not one but two. Okay, everybody stand down for just a moment. We're doing an audio check.
Commissioner Fielder, do you hear us okay?
I do. I just have trouble finding my buttons after I've opened all these documents. So yes,
Commissioner
I'm
Fielder,
here.
do you
Thank
hear
you.
us? Okay.
Could you speak, please, Commissioner Fielder?
I am speaking. Can you hear me? I am speaking. Can you hear me?
We cannot hear you, so one moment, please. Or Philip, yeah.
Testing 2, 3. Check 2, 3, 4. Check 2, 3, 4.
Amanda,
How
are you
about-
the lead person on this document?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
By any chance, are you online? Okay, we'll still circle back to him. Okay, we have docket number 2025.01.015. Commission initiated. Staff, Amanda, take it away.
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Amanda Webster, and I'm a staff attorney with the commission. Joining me is Katie Sheard, one of the Commission's regulatory compliance specialists. Before you is a staff memo that outlines the different options the Commission can take to move forward with its investigation into Allied Waste Services of North America, LLC, and Allied Waste Systems of North America, LLC, which all collectively referred to as Allied and is also referred to as Republic in some of the materials. This investigation started in January 2025 after the Commission received complaints that Allied companies operating in parts of Montana had failed to provide consistent garbage transportation services. In February, the Commission held a public listening session in Big Timber to receive further public comment. In March, the Commission issued investigatory requests to Allied. After issuing an order to protect Allied's confidential trade secret information from disclosure, the Commission received Allied's responses to the investigatory requests at the end of May. Allied's investigatory responses largely indicate that the company has recently taken steps to improve its service and has procedures in place to address customer service issues that were expressed to the Commission at the beginning of the year. While in recent months, the complaints the Commission has received about Allied's Class D services has slowed down drastically, staff still takes seriously the problems experienced by Sweetgrass County residents over multiple months from July 2024 through February 2025. Staff is also aware that some issues may still be ongoing. Staff recommends that the Commission's next actions in this docket help ensure Allied's indicated service improvements in Sweetgrass County continue moving forward. After reviewing Allied's responses, including the confidential information in full, staff recommends proceeding through two joint actions. First, staff recommends that the Commission contemplate rulemaking and direct staff to draft a rulemaking proposal to set service standards in response to issues raised at the listening session. Many customer issues are applicable to Class D services throughout the state, and having set standards will give the Commission something to enforce. Though, as discussed in the staff memo, staff will need to conduct research to determine what standards, if any, are appropriately within the Commission's grant of regulatory authority from the legislature. Second, staff recommends that the Commission issue a notice inviting Allied to informally meet with Commission staff regarding service improvements. Staff believes this option would help the Commission better understand Allied's operating procedures to better provide information to consumers who are experiencing service issues. Staff would also like to discuss ideas for service improvements with Allied and would like to discuss mutually agreeable procedures to get timely responses from Allied to assist the resolution of consumer assistance requests. The staff memo before you outlines both of these options in detail, as well as other possible actions the Commission could take. Thank you for your time. We would now be happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions from commissioners? Commissioner Panochi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can you remind us what commissioners were able to attend this meeting in Big Timber?
President Molnar and Commissioner Panochi, I believe both of you were in attendance, as well as Commissioner Wellborn. It was just the three of you to my recollection, myself and Katie.
Thank you. Now, the question came up, I believe from Allied, that service is difficult, and depending on how deep the snow is, service can be spotty. But it came out in testimony that there were service problems during time of warm weather or no snow. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. A question came up probably afterwards of the hearing. A garbage container is moved on the road like Allied wants to, and someone was to strike the container driving a car. Would the landowner be responsible and liable or Allied?
Commissioner Panochi, at this time, staff is not making any representations about liability for injury related to garbage getting onto the road. It's not our area of expertise and would probably be a fact-specific inquiry. That is an issue that we could dig into more with Allied. We did get some information from them, some of which may be some confidential procedures. But generally, I can share that Allied does work with its customers on placement of cans when service is established and if they express any concerns. And there's also a gravity locking lid that's available to customers that may only address the lid opening or closing and not it going into the roads. That might be a further line of inquiry we could get into if we had discussions or further investigatory requests to Allied.
If the wind knocks the container over and garbage spreads across the road, is it the case where Allied just empties the container of whatever garbage may be left in it, leaving the garbage that spread across the road into the ditch and into the fence? What are your thoughts to the answer to that?
Commissioner Pinocci, that's another great question that we could dig into more. We don't have a specific answer to that question based on the responses we got. And we didn't specifically ask that question, so we wouldn't know at this time.
Was it true that when they put a bungee on the lid to prevent the garbage from leaving the container, bungee is this rubber strap or perhaps a nylon one that has the ability to wrap around the top of the container, stretch down, connect to the handle. And what the property owner is trying to do here is prevent garbage from leaking from the container, whether the lid blows open or completely tips over. Is it true that Allied was cutting these bungee straps, leaving them cut on the container?
Commissioner Pinocci, one moment, I'm going to just check some of the responses here. I know it is correct that the commission did receive that allegation. Commissioner Pinocci, the staff memo on page 6 outlines Allied's responses to those allegations that employees were moving or marking garbage containers adjacent to high-speed roads. There is information in the responses that address that allegation. I can't find it at the moment. I believe some of that information may be confidential because it involves Republic's internal procedures about how they handle some of these issues. It is in this information, and I'd be happy to speak with you about that issue outside of the public forum. But for what I can provide you publicly, Allied does have a response to that problem. So I'd be happy to follow up with you about that question.
So one more. You mentioned a container that is able to seal, whether it's magnetically or does it have a latch. I don't remember that this container was made available before our hearing. This sounds like this is new information of this container that's able to close and stay closed in the event it falls or wind blows it open. Is it true that this container new idea is after the hearing and not before or during the hearing?
Commissioner Pinocci, I'm not sure when it became available, but my impression from reading the responses is that it has been an option available to customers for some time, although I do not know when that started.
To my recollection, the customers were not aware of an answer to that. If they are today, that's good, but I think it's important to know whether this was available before the hearing in Big Timber, because this is the first I heard of a container that can do that. Now, I do want to praise that an answer is coming out to having a container that can stay closed. Another good reason to bungee strap a container is to keep wildlife out of it. Okay. So that is a good concern. And certainly throughout my district, we've had a problem with bears getting into garbage. We had a hearing in Lewistown on this. And, raccoons are a tremendous problem. Thank you, Mr. President. No more questions.
Thank you. Any further questions from commissioners?
Yes, Mr. President, I have one.
Okay, Commissioner Fielder, you're recognized.
Thank you. Ms. Webster, on part 3 of the recommendation here from staff regarding a notice inviting Allied to informally meet with commission staff regarding service improvements, do you see those as being closed confidential meetings, or are those going to be open public meetings?
Commissioner Fielder, as envisioned by staff, these would be closed confidential meetings to allow staff flexibility and full candor to discuss some of these issues with Allied, with the goal of hopefully having some public information that we can share afterwards. As has been stated here, there are questions from many members of the public, and we'd like to get information that we can share publicly moving forward.
Thank you. So also, if you're having those meetings in a closed session, that allows confidential information to be discussed without breaching public disclosure requirements. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I do recall in the responses from the company an answer regarding the bungee cords on the cans, but it may have been in the confidential area, so I won't address it, but I think it's something that definitely should be addressed. Or maybe you could point to the answer to Commissioner Pinocci, because I believe they gave an answer, and to me it sounded like a decent answer. So thank you.
Further question, Commissioner Bukacek?
Yeah, the last 3 paragraphs in option A, so it's on the top of page 5. So generally, the Montana Legislature and Supreme Court, they've been very clear that the Public Service Commission is not supposed to micromanage the utilities it regulates. And in these top 3 paragraphs, I'm just going to read it. It's fairly short. Everything is so well done. It says the commission may not impose service standards that are beyond the power of the legislator contemplated granting the commission when it outlined the commissioner's broad authority. Scooting down a little bit. A rulemaking for service standards would be a drawn-out process that would likely receive substantial public comment and require a rulemaking hearing. Staff would want to ensure that any service standards were feasible for Class D motor carrier compliance. For this reason, informal rulemaking and stakeholder discussions may be warranted in advance of formally proposing rules. So my question, based on all of that, and that we're not supposed to be micromanagers, when you talk about the research staff would have to do, that would be prior even to informal rulemaking, correct?
Commissioner Bukacek, that is correct. If the commission wants to go down the option of rulemaking, the next thing staff would do is to get legislative history information from the state library to look into that inquiry.
Sounds imposing, the research that would have to be done. Would it be delving into the intent of the legislators when they made this? Would you have to go back and listen to hearings?
Potentially, yes. I don't know exactly what's available, but we'd have to look at information surrounding the passage of the statute.
It sounds extremely cumbersome to me. And when I look at the option D authorizes staff to, we're looking at the specific complaints that were given by the customers, and Ms. Sheard, she typed up the complaints. There were like 21 people that made complaints at the meeting, and then another 5 written. And if those, a lot of them are it could be considered in general categories. And so if Allied was asked to do D, it seems like it would be much less cumbersome, and it would be more specifically oriented toward what these consumers were complaining about. So I guess that's a comment rather than a question, but it just seems like it would be a lot more effective, less cumbersome, less time that might not be necessary on the part of staff. Like it says, it would be a drawn-out process. And I think in studying the legislature and whether or not they intended us to have, more micromanaging, I think you'd have to listen to all of the hearings. Wondering what my question is? Yeah, I don't want to ask your opinion because you already have recommended A. To me, I don't know that I can vote for that. And I would recommend a thorough consideration of D and maybe B and D, because B is part of what you are requesting, and that would allow you to get together. And then D would address the specific problems that the consumers discussed. Any comments from other commissioners?
Commissioner Wellborn?
Thanks. Maybe a little bit of clarification. Are you, Commissioner Bukasek, are you talking about the number of comments? Are you talking about the comments that were made at that public listening session? Is that what you're referencing?
Correct. Those comments plus the comments that were written and emailed to the PSC.
Okay, follow up, Mr. President.
Sure.
I mean, I wasn't tallying the number of comments that were made that night, but I can assure you there might have been 21 individual comments, unique comments. It seems like there was more, but what I can tell you is there was a room probably with 100 or more people in it on the same night that there was a home basketball game in Big Timber during a blizzard, and they still come out to talk about their garbage services. So it feels like there was a lot more than 21 individual comments made that night. And Mr. President, I'm very happy to hear that there's been improvements made. But is there a way, if we don't go down the rulemaking path, that we can tap into these same people that came and give comments to see how they feel about the improvements that are made? I mean, I trust that there's improvements been made, but I would certainly like to verify that before I just not, maybe move forward with staff's recommendation.
Are you asking that as a question from staff?
Well, I guess that was just more of a comment. I mean, I'm inclined to support their recommendation to go down rulemaking. I mean, I know it's cumbersome, but I look at it as something entirely different than micromanaging. I look at it as the next tool that we have to do our job. And I think if that's what it takes to get better service for the people in Big Timber, then that's a step that we need to take. But I would like to, I mean, if there's a way to, if those improvements have been made and people are generally satisfied, if we could hear that, then it might change my vote. Otherwise, if, with that being said, I guess would support what staff is asking or what recommending to do here.
I have a question for staff. So, Ms. Sheard, in the public comments that you summarized, there are specific names attached to the consumer complaints, correct? So they're not general categories. You can find general categories of types of complaints, but there are specific names mentioned. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So for option D then, where it says requests asking Allied to respond to specific public comments from the Big Timber listening session, D, they would have these names just like we were publicly given, and that could be carried out through D, correct?
Commissioner Bukacek, as I understand your question, yes, that's correct.
And another question, so back to those 3 paragraphs, the commission may not impose service standards that are beyond the power the legislator contemplated granting to commission when it outlined the commission's broad authority. That is what it says there, correct?
Yes.
So I guess I'll hold it for the discussion. That's my last question, I think.
President Molnar, I've got another question for staff.
Certainly, Commissioner Fielder.
Thank you. And then I'll save my debate for the, if there's a motion on this as well. But, in the work session request, the request addresses two, or the recommendation from staff addresses two things. Which is Romanet I, contemplate rulemaking and draft a rulemaking proposal to set service standards in response to issues raised in Big Timber listening session. And two, Roman numeral II, draft notice inviting Allied to informally meet with the commission regarding staff improvements. But in the staff memo, I noticed that there's actually three Romanettes under your recommendations. So I wanted to ask staff to just address that. Is the recommendation in your memo, page 2, the three, the I, and I under recommendation, is that what you're recommending today to us?
Vice President Fielder, thank you for the clarification. The final version of the staff memo, I don't know if it's the exact same one you're seeing, it sounds like not, only has two recommendations. The first recommendation is to draft a rulemaking proposal and set service standards, and the second recommendation is to draft a notice for an informal meeting. Staff previously discussed another option, which would be ordering regular compliance filings. But after further discussion, we decided not to recommend that because we didn't think that would be the most helpful use of our time to get a resolution in this matter.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. That's the one that was missing, was the potential of an order regarding the compliance filing. So I wanted to just double check something with you. It's my impression that if the commission enters into item D, as Commissioner Bukacek had seemed inclined to do, then our work on this is limited to that service territory and that one company in that service territory. Is that correct?
Vice President Fielder, yes, that's what staff would recommend. The first set of investigatory responses or requests that we issued were open-ended for the whole state. But we believe that if we asked very specific targeted questions, we could get better answers that would help us moving forward.
Okay, and then the recommendation to us before us today to contemplate rulemaking regarding setting service standards. Rulemaking would apply to any garbage hauler, would it not?
That's correct.
Okay, well, I actually like that because I would like to find out what the limits of our authority actually are, what we can and can't do. And I think that by supporting the recommendation of staff, we can get that fleshed out and detailed. It's a difficult position to be in as an elected official and have these consumers that have major problems like we saw in Big Timber and we're seeing in other places around the state. And the answer is, oh, we don't have any authority over that. So I'd like to find out what our actual authority is through this informal rulemaking process, allow staff to have those discussions. So I guess I went into debate a little bit, but that's where I'm at. Thank you.
Any further questions from staff? I have one. Commissioner Fielder got the jump on me a little bit, but that would be that if we did go into rulemaking, that would be statewide for all Class D. And if we go, however, if we go into under A, so I'm looking at page 4 and 5, if we get into basically the commission establishing service statements, would that be, or requirements, would that be just for Republic or would that be statewide?
President Molnar, I believe you were asking about the service standards rulemaking, and that would be applicable to all Class D carriers
Okay, so
statewide.
setting service standards is different than beginning a rulemaking procedure?
Both of those concepts are under the same option that staff recommends.
Okay. Then I'll comment and then we'll take a motion on D. I don't think there's anything under what we're currently doing that we can't ask for clarification on answers, ask even new questions when they sit down and meet with staff, if indeed that's how we vote. But if we start off with the second set of interrogatory requests, this is already what, 7 months old? That'll make it 9, maybe 10. We would be out over a year on a question on garbage pickup in Stillwater. I think the people there that justice delayed is just denied. I can't see any reason for new interrogatory request. I would go on the record of saying I've looked at some of the questions, some of the answers, and some of the answers raised more questions than they did put issues away. I trust staff in a meeting can get to the end of that. Wishful thinking, maybe it would just be staff from Republic and their legal team could take a hiatus that day and just sit down and resolve issues and not go into a Gandhi dance. So, Commissioner Panucci? Certainly.
Is it possible to do A, B, and D? Because D would get to the specific complaints from these consumers. A is going to take a long time.
Commissioner Bukacek, the commission could take all 3 of those actions. From my perspective, I don't see any of these options being a quick fix. They're all going to take some time. And I think the staff's recommendation for the 2 options were to get things started and have 2 different ways that we could resolve the issues going forward. Potentially 3 ways might lead to a better resolution. And I just have one more point. I did find a response to Commissioner Panucci's earlier question. The public information that I can share with you is at the bottom of page 5 of the staff memo. Allied states that to prevent safety issues, it asks customers not to alter or modify garbage containers and instructs its drivers to remove cords from garbage containers when found. It does not suggest or condone they cut such cords except under circumstances where no other alternative is available to safely dispose of the garbage.
Which goes to the complexity of the answers actually answering the question. Commissioner Panucci?
I'd like to make a motion to support staff recommendations.
We have a motion to support staff recommendations. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a first, we have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion by commissioners? Commissioner Panucci?
This is one of the worst complaints in garbage I've ever witnessed in 8 years of serving in office, 14 years working with legislators, senators, and congressmen. And I think that being there in person for that hearing makes a real difference. I'll explain. I was there nearly an hour earlier before the hearing started, and I could not answer all the questions or listen to all of the concerns. And I was the last one to leave the room before they locked up. And then I proceeded to take complaints at dinner time. And I think that this really adds up to, I spent more time with the public than the hearing actually lasted. And then the next day, while having breakfast at the hotel, had a crowd of people around me. These problems are serious. Okay, I want to thank staff, and I see that staff worked on this, those that were there in person and felt that energy in the room. And I think Commissioner Wellborn explained it very well. It was some of the worst weather I'd ever seen while during a basketball game. For the public to have this kind of showing showed tremendously serious problem, right? In attaching a bungee to a container to prevent that container from tipping over and littering the area is absolutely understandable. And I see a failure between garbage and the customer to come up with better answers. And I believe a result of that hearing now has come up with a container that has a better answer. And probably as a result of that hearing. Okay. So I think that's a good result. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Panucci. Commissioner Panucci, is there a further comment from any commissioners on the motion.
Yeah, Mr. President,
Yes.
I appreciate the approach here, so I'm going to support Commissioner Pinocchi's motion. Um, I think we've all sat through hours and hours and hours of garbage related hearings, garbage hauler hearings. And although I haven't attended a hearing in a blizzard, I have attended a 3-day hearing in a tin building in the middle of summer with no air conditioning. So that was pretty rough too. But people do come out for this. It's important service that they need. And I know when we saw service improvements in my district in Missoula County, when we allowed a competing company to come in, we saw some really, really, really happy customers. I hadn't heard one complaint from the public about our decision to allow that competition into that market, and only positive responses and comments about the commission's decision in that matter. So I really do appreciate staff presenting this proposal to us and being willing to flesh this out further for us, so we actually do have a clear understanding of not only how to solve problems in big timber, but how to address problems around the state when they occur with the companies that we are responsible for regulating. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fielder. Are there, yes,
Based on Vice President Fielder's earlier comments, I can support A because I think there will be, it's going to take a long time, a clarification of our jurisdiction. And I just wanted to say there is a commenter in writing that has 2 different residences from the same company, garbage hauling, one in Billings, one in Big Timber, and they say the service in one is great, the other is terrible. So there are some issues attached with the ability to provide the service in this area. And I think that's very clear too.
okay. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion made by Commissioner Pinocchi signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. 5-0, the motion passes. I'm not aware of any announcements, so I'll ask again. Mr. Sullivan, are you online? Mr. Sullivan, if you can hear us, you might want to try again at a later date. Other than that, the date of the next business meeting is August 27th, 2025. Conclude them, and seeing no further business to come before the commission. For the record,
Mr. President, I believe the next meeting is August 26th, not 27th.
it says the 27th. I think we have an error in computation. So it'll be the 26th, 2025. Seeing no further business to come before the commission. For the record, the time is 2:09 p.m. and the day is August 19th, 2025. This meeting is adjourned. This guy might be coming out next week.